you shouldn't become somebody you hate just because they made you feel a deep sense of pain. You know, I think it's important to stay on track with who you are as a person and to understand that, life is going to be just a life experience, and that's what it's going to be. You don't have to change your entire personality or your entire worldview because of what one person did. And I think that's also like a negative of seeing the good in people and feeling like there is, good in everybody and all that, because you kind of approach it like you're approaching yourself. Like, you feel like if you put out this good, that you'll get it back in some sense, or if you give this grace or forgiveness, um, you'll get it back. But that's not really the case. Some people are in this. Some people are in their own cycle of pain that they can't get out of, and no matter how good you are, they'll still inflict that pain onto you. And sometimes it could be intentional, sometimes it could be unintentional. That part doesn't really matter too much because, you're still getting hurt in the process. And, that's going to be on them. But I feel like for you, you just have to stay who you are and not be too distracted on, what everyone else is doing. Just because they hurt you and then you see them, living such a great life, that doesn't mean that you should also hurt people, you know, because even if they are living like a great way, if you know that's not who you are at your core, you're going to feel empty inside. You're going to feel just a deep sense of, shouldn't I feel more or shouldn't I feel different? And if that's how you feel, then you're not really being who you truly are. So, and it's difficult too because, you see the good in people, you think everyone is capable of, changing in a way, especially if you keep, putting out good. But, just because you put out some good doesn't mean that you're going to get it back all the time. And that's probably the toughest pill to swallow is that, you could be a great person, but you're not going to experience greatness from other people all the time. And at times it can feel like most of the time you're not feeling any of that, any good feelings at all, which kind of makes you feel like you should turn into a heartless, cold person. But, that's not really it. That's not what's going to give you, the warmth. The goodness isn't what you receive from the world, but it's what you give to it. So you just have to keep giving it and hope that, one day you'll get it back from a person that you're, somebody that you're interested in or someone that you want to consistently be around. You just got to have that hope, I guess, and not lose sight of who you are. I think there was a Maya Angelou quote, and it was something about like brave people, like to be brave, you have to be willing to keep loving, and you have to keep being willing to love. And that's how you know you're like a brave, strong person. I'll probably put the quote, like the exact quote, in the description, but it's something along those lines. But yeah, that's what I got today. Take it easy.